there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we are talking this quote-unquote beef with Corey HOLCOMB and Godfrey. They have been friends for over 30 years, know each other very well in the comedy industry. However, a couple of days ago, things went off the rails, people. So shout out first and foremost to 5150 Nation, because we're going to talk about what happened, who was right, who was wrong, who's telling the truth, who's backtracking, who doesn't have the same energy, and all of the goodness, right? So on Corey HOLCOMB's 5150 show that comes on every Tuesday night, there's been a lot of people coming for Corey HOLCOMB, right? Including Tasha K, which we'll probably do in a separate video. Also DJ Academics, that's like illegally streaming Corey HOLCOMB's content. So now they're playing background music for his content so that DJ Academics can't steal anything. I thought he was going to go a little bit harder on DJ Academics. I was a little surprised that he didn't. And then in particular, he spent some time on Godfrey, because Godfrey also has a podcast with Dante Nero. And the big story, of course, is the escalation with Ashley Larry, who basically, went to TMZ to talk about how he was upset and all the things that he said at the comedy show about Corey HOLCOMB, because he felt a way about Corey HOLCOMB's comments about Dave Chappelle a few weeks back. Basically, to summarize, Corey HOLCOMB said that Dave Chappelle is one of those comedians at this point where it doesn't matter whether or not he bombs on stage, he's just going to talk or whatever, and people are going to go and support him because it's Dave. And a lot of times he's there like working out potential jokes and things like that on some of these dates that he has or what have you. But what has got people up in arms is the comment that Corey HOLCOMB basically made was that if you've been in like 3 or 4 movies or more, that you've partaken in some type of backdooria activity. Which, for those of you who are not aware, some type of homosexual activity, putting on a dress or something to where basically you are, having to do this to reach certain statuses in Hollywood, to make certain hundreds of millions of dollars in Hollywood, that there would either have to be some type of homosexual act or putting on a dress or some variation of that, right? So that got Ashley Larry up in arms. He was very upset. Kept referencing fellatio and all these things, and Godfrey on his show, on his podcast. Now, I'm not sure when it taped, but nonetheless, his comments and Dante Nero's comments were bigging up Ashley Larry, which is fine. You can like whoever you want as far as a comedic standpoint. That's no issue there. But Corey HOLCOMB felt away because he felt as though they were trying to say that Corey HOLCOMB instigated it, and that it was somehow Corey HOLCOMB's fault that Donald Rawlings went off the rails at this comedy show in attacking Corey HOLCOMB. And Corey HOLCOMB was trying to explain this was completely unprovoked, that, he was just doing this. I was the headliner. He was trying to stay on, and he was trying to, stay all this stuff and all these things, and, was just trying to heckle me and all these things. And so apparently, behind the scenes, Godfrey had called Corey HOLCOMB to clarify what actually happened, right? And Corey HOLCOMB broke down everything that happened behind the scenes because they're friends, right? And so then Corey HOLCOMB, he's kind of like joking on Godfrey, but also kind of throwing shade because he felt as though Godfrey didn't have his back, and neither did Dante Nero. And so he is putting out there the story that Godfrey told himself on 5150 show. I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago or something, in which the story was he basically lived with this gay white man, which is a true story. This is what he actually said on Corey HOLCOMB's platform. I know we're in prisoner of the moment, but literally he told this story about living with this gay white man or whatever. And so, nonetheless, in the middle of this, Corey's like retelling this story on his live show this past Tuesday night, and guess who calls in? in the midst of all of this, because Corey basically was trying to say, like, you lived with a gay man and you've been in over 60 films. Are you in Backdoria too? Basically. And so then next thing we know, the phone's ringing. And so Godfrey comes in and basically is, trying to smooth things over with, what is taking place, trying to smooth over, actually what happened, what actually was said on his podcast, trying to clarify the story about living with the alleged gay white man, right? And so what Godfrey says, because there was like a lot of double talking, and I felt like Godfrey was trying to clean things up, because there was a different story that he told us on the 5150 show, and 5150 fans, you know what I'm talking about. And he basically tried to say now that he's always lived with a black woman, and that what happened was that some time ago, it was him and this white friend of his that they were about to hook up with multiple girls. And I guess originally he was at the gay white dude's place or whatever. And I guess Godfrey told him, hey, I live in a brownstone. This would be a larger place, so that way you and girl number 1 can hook up in the living room, and me and girl number 2 can hook up in my room, right? So allegedly, apparently, there was hooking up taking place or whatever. And Godfrey hears downstairs with the gay white guy, something goes left with this other woman. And basically, the gay white dude then makes the comment, this is why I suck bleep. Basically admitting that in some capacity, at least then, at the minimum, he was bisexual. And Godfrey is claiming that is when he found out, in fact, that this white friend was in fact at least bisexual or gay or what have you, but still didn't come out of the closet until another 10, 15 years later or whatever. A completely different story than what was said on the 5150 show. And so Corey Holcomb kept trying to ask clarifying questions because he knew that wasn't the same story that he told him on his actual show. And Godfrey was trying to double down on this. And so it was just wild. And so ultimately the call concluded, and Corey Holcomb's like, hey, it's nothing. Like it's nothing but love or whatever, but just don't try to call me behind the scenes saying that you have my back, and that was wrong of how, Donald Rawlings acted. But then you're on your podcast saying, oh, I think Corey Holcomb's instigated it. And then the other comment that made him upset was the comment from Dante Nero, in which he said that Corey Holcomb is losing his integrity, and his integrity and morals are into question and all of these things because, again, the narrative was put out there falsely that Corey Holcomb did something to provoke Ashley Larry to go on this rant, when the reality was he had a reaction to what Corey Holcomb said. And so then also on the phone, Godfrey was like, well, aren't you in 4 movies too? So what about you? What about you, Impossible Backdoria? And Corey Holcomb was like, okay, I'm not speaking on me or what the situation is at hand. I am talking about y'all. I'm talking like he was not, even trying to feature that. And so that was the end of that. So I think ultimately, I see a lot of people who do not know the backstory, that are just taking up for Godfrey for the fact that he called in. But for those of you who know the actual backstory, the story that Corey Holcomb told us was actually true. It wasn't a lie. But when Godfrey got on live, he basically cleaned up the story to make it look like he wasn't actively living with this man, and made it seem like, they were just friends or whatever. But you have this friend who's close enough for you to say, hey, we can hook up with people at my place. So there is that. Ultimately, I see some people are entertained by this whole Corey versus everybody narrative. Some people feel a certain way because of Corey's past falling outs with other guests and friends and things that he's had previously, starting with Jamie Foxx and Zoe Williams, and just it goes down the line of all these peoples at one point in time that he was cool with, and then once they fall out, all HE breaks loose, right? But I feel like this is a situation where I think Corey and Godfrey will still be cool after this, but it was just funny how Godfrey called in live as Corey is breaking down this Backdoria story and doing these impressions of Godfrey, and he calls in like live to like at the moment to try to clear his name and clear up any suspicion of anything that is suspect on him. So that was really funny to me. So there is that. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.